What is going on, snipers? Naeem Al-Obeidi here. I hope all of you guys are having a wonderful day today. Let's go and just dive right into our daily cryptocurrency analytics for today. What inspired me to make this video was a community consensus poll that we recently took on Twitter. If you guys are following our official Snipers Tubes Twitter, you had the opportunity to actually participate on this. We have about 449 votes here, and we asked the question, what is the best privacy coin? So far, we have 36% Monero, 51% Verge, surprisingly 5% Zcash, and 8% PIVX. Now, there is an individual here named Dave Ibrahim. Shout out to Dave. He actually contributed this actual graph here showing the differences between Colossus, Verge, Dash, Monero, and PIVX. There's other coins like Dash that enable the private send feature. However, we're just going to dive into the technicals here because I implore you guys to open the door of education, looking at these coins, looking at the fundamentals, because it's not all about technicals, but we can definitely see what is the best coin to invest in the next couple of weeks that has the most potential. Let's go ahead and just dive right in. So you can currently look at the graph that we're seeing here. This is our free trading view chart. The resource is in the description below. If you right click this, you can insert indicator. We're going to be utilizing the volume, the three moving averages, the RSI, and the MACD, or the moving average convergence divergence. You guys can click fundamentals and type in all of those names and then actually pull up all of those indicators. We have our three moving averages set to the inputs of the 50-day, 100-day, and the 200-day moving average. The 50-day being the red, the 200-day being the blue, and obviously this would be the 100-day. We've got the RSI down here, the volume down here, the candlesticks, of course, and the MACD, which are all important indicators that we're going to be utilizing today. Looking at the one-day chart for Monero, you can see we're starting to see this run up and a little bit of recovery from this initial consolidation where we found some strong support right around, looks to be 1.1 million Satoshis here. And now we're starting to rise back up. By the way, we're using Satoshis because most people trade in Bitcoin, right? That's very important to notate, being the fact that a lot of people like to look at the USD charts, especially when looking at coin market cap, but Satoshis are extremely important, especially for more advanced traders. If you guys want to start getting into that zone, into that level, you guys want to start using Satoshis and being understandable of what Satoshi values are and what gains and losses look like in Satoshis. So looking at this current graph here, you can see we're forming this upward trend here with these higher highs, and then you see these lower lows down here, seeing these rising prices, looking like we're actually going above the 100-day now, pretty much about, let's say, from that 100-day, 21% away, and then from that 50-day, it looks like we're right about 10% away from that. Not bad, being the fact that you can see right around this time period, we were almost 70% away from that 50-day moving average. Looking at the price levels and where they are headed, we can actually assume here in terms of graphing that we are seeing this upward trend right now, and you guys can actually trade this on this trend, being the fact that it's pretty stable here. You can see these really clear support and resistance lines that are forming here within this graph. Now, what's most interesting about this chart here, in my opinion, is the fact that you can see that we've continuously bounced on top of this 50-day, back and forth, going in and under that 50-day moving average. And it looks like the best times to buy Monero are really where these 50-day moving averages fall on top of these candlesticks. So looking at the prices now seem to me a little bit overpriced, only being the fact that you can see with this initial run up, we saw this huge consolidation, which a lot of people that bought around these prices are going to look to sell. And you can see there's a lot more volatility with this run up than we saw here, where this was more parabolic. This one is more gradual. You can see this is starting to form in and close in on each other, which could eventually converge with each other. So if we actually pull up our chart here, this is another resource that we have, probably more important than the trading view chart, to be quite frank with you, because this one can actually teach you and you have a community to connect with. The link is in the description below once again. The trading view chart here, though, looking at these support and resistance lines, you can see we're starting to converge kind of like a falling wedge, but this is really the opposite of what a falling wedge is. The falling wedge is really a descending pattern. This is more of an ascending pattern. So looking at this, in my opinion, you can almost reverse engineer this falling wedge and say, well, if this is how the breakouts look, this is typically how these reversals are going to look. Now, this isn't an end-all be-all. However, looking at this chart, are fairly high. You can't admit that. Obviously, volume increased. That took the prices a lot higher. Volume is starting to decrease. You can see MACD is starting to lean back down. You can see these RSI levels as well are pretty much on top of 45, which is the higher ladder aspect of this RSI chart. Looking here, this is really where prices were pretty good here. You can see we're in the bottom portion. Now we're in the top portion of this RSI. So in my opinion, this was really the time to buy. This was the time to sell if you were going to take some profits. And I think in order for somebody to put a position in Monero and have an actual reasonable cost to do so for a long-term investment, it should be down in these lower RSI levels. Now, if you're swing trading it, it's definitely a coin, if you pull up that 1 hour, that has extreme volatility, and that means that there's a lot of opportunity to make money with your swing trades. The reason I switched over from traditional markets and Forex over to cryptocurrency was because of the fact that there was extreme volatility in cryptocurrency versus a lot less volatility in traditional markets. And volatility is the one way as a day trader, as a swing trader, that you can make a lot of money. And especially in an emerging market, it's also a place for value investors that are a little bit more on the risky side. Now, once again, you never want to invest more than you're willing to lose. This isn't financial advice. However, it's important to note that. So looking at Monero right now, if you are a swing trader or a day trader, it looks like there's an awesome chart here. You can see these extreme parabolic run-ups that happen. And then you see there's these ascending support lines, these ascending resistance lines that you can actually trade upon. But as a long-term hold, if you were trying to get a good position in, if you were trying to put a substantial amount, I think prices could get a little bit lower, only being the fact that we're so far away from that 50-day, that 100-day, and that 200-day. Typically, when we're below that, it looks like that's usually the best time to buy on this. And then once again, you can see that moving average is also extremely parabolic. RSI is a little bit high, and MACD looks to be descending just a bit right now. And it looks like the best time to buy this, once again, is down when these MACD levels are also on their lower levels. So looking at this graph, you can see MACD is low, prices were also low. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for XMR, looking at total market cap, $5,330 right now. You can see exactly what we were talking about here in the technical chart here. Total market cap just approaching 600 billion once again. An amazing feat for cryptocurrency, being the fact that we were under 300 billion a couple months ago. So exciting to see that. Let's move on to PIVX, because this is actually one of the trading alerts that we posted here within our Patreon trading alerts. If you guys are receiving our snipers trading alerts, we talked about this being a great swing trade. And it's like a lot of these privacy coins are kind of following the same trend here, where they're actually going on these ascending patterns here, just kind of going up, forming these channels. So you can see here, very similar here with PIVX, where you've got these ascending support lines, these ascending resistance lines, forming this channel here, where it's a great swing trade back and forth. If you guys are on our Patreon, we actually posted this, and I told you guys as a swing trade, this was up here. I said this is probably going to start dropping down, and these are really the best buying levels, it seems like here, because you can see even with the RSI, it follows a very strict support line. You guys do know you can start drawing support lines on these RSIs. For you, those of you new to RSI, over 70 overbought, under 30 oversold. MACD, you're looking for these crossovers. There's a fast line here in blue. There's a slow line here in orange. Anytime these cross, you can see that's typically where these price swing, right? So these are showing the price swings, while the RSI is a better indicator for entry and exit points, in my opinion. You can see this parabolic amount of volume that just kind of shot up out of nowhere. It's actually exactly what allowed this to start taking off. But looking at this, it looks like once it touches this 50-day, you can see that 50 days right along that support. Isn't that awesome, right? So this is another great indicator here. So the 50-day moving average right here in red, you can see how it's following right along this line that we're drawing here. It's not going to be exact once again, but look how closely tied it is to that moving average. It's riding right along there. So as soon as this touches that 50-day, most likely going to go back up. So if you guys are looking to make some quick swing trades, a lot of whales will make tons of money in this manner, putting in several $1,000s while they're at those 50-day averages when they know it's going to start going back up. And then as soon as it goes back up, they sell up here and they just buy and sell, buy and sell. Buying the red, selling the green every single time works, right? So once again, this isn't financial advice, but it has helped me and it's helped many different traders in trading. So that's pretty much what we're looking at for PIVX. Pretty simple here. You guys already knew about this if you were receiving our trading alerts. And if you guys can see here, there's also these very clear support levels that continue to form as it starts to go under that 50 days. So anytime it goes under that 50-day, I would be careful and set up those stop losses, because you can see if it goes under, it pretty much has this whole room to go down. And then anytime it drops under that 50-day, it pretty much drops a lot further. So be careful with that 50-day moving average, but you can definitely start trading this on this upward trend, being the fact that resistance levels are all the way up here at 170,000 Satoshis. We have a pretty long way to go to allow these channels to kind of form up. Not that that will go all the way up, but there's certainly a possibility. And during that time, you can do a lot of different swing trades there to ensure maximum profitability. So looking at PIVX, 561 market cap here, $1 million, $10.13 here, rank number 55 right now. So a little bit smaller of a coin, however, definitely there in the game. So if we pull up our Verge chart, let's go ahead and move on to Verge, the one that got pumped, right? Huge pump here, tons of volume, tons of price levels, parabolic increase. Now we're seeing that consolidation here, looking like a descending triangle is forming here. You see these horizontal support lines. You see these descending resistance lines, which are an indicator of a descending triangle. Once again, if you pull up our trading view chart, you can see exactly how these descending triangles form. That's why it's such an important resource. I implore all of you guys to get on our Discord. There's a mobile version, a web version, a desktop version. There's so many versions of this to allow you guys to have extreme accessibility. So you see this horizontal support, descending resistance, forms that descending triangle with that negative breakout. Now, in my opinion, if this does break out, there is another dilemma here. We're riding on top of this 50 average right now. So this could possibly be good price points. If you are looking to purchase into Verge, I would follow this rule. I would say to yourself, set up your stop losses under that 50-day. If you want, you can even set it up below this previous line. Now, when I say stop loss, typically you'll want to use stop loss alerts because sometimes these wicks can trigger those stop losses. But definitely set up stop losses because if it goes below that 50-day moving average, there's a high probability that it'll probably drop down to that 100-day and possibly even the 200-day, like you saw with PIVX. You see here with this chart, you can see how there were points in time where it had these parabolic run-ups, bounced off the 50-day, bounced off the 50-day, but then eventually broke under. So you don't want to catch yourself in that position if Verge breaks under. You want to be able to buy at these really low prices where you can see this 200-day caught up here. This one actually broke through the 200-day, and over here you can see the 50-day actually caught up with the price where we went ahead and jumped over. And I'm actually interested to see this Fibonacci. If you guys know how to use the auto fib, I'd highly recommend this. If you're watching our live streams, you guys know we like to use this. Bam, look at that. Clear support on that Fibonacci. So it's not the 200-day, it's the Fibonacci that found support here. So look at that. Awesome. Fibonacci works like a charm. So looking at Verge's total market cap, once again, we're currently at 1.3 billion. Could be a little bit high for such a new coin because I did find this article that I'm going to put in the description below. You can show this guy some love, Crypto Oracle, whoever this is. Shout out to Crypto Oracle. But if you look at Verge, one of the things about Verge, very new, very fast block times, of course, questionable black paper, public info, but very new, and 1.5 billion for me, or 1.3 billion, don't match up too well. So I would be careful with Verge if you are trading this at this price level. If you bought at these higher highs, then unfortunately you trap, and that's fine. That's what this channel is for, to help you guys learn. And that's why I am so passionate about making these videos and teaching you guys and educating you guys, because I know how it feels. I was in the market alone. I remember starting with traditional stocks and only having $100 to invest, and then trying to turn that into another $100, and then sometimes losing that, until I found mentorship. I found people that had different perspectives, understanding where the philosophy really lies is between the psychology, the technicals, and the fundamentals, and then crossing those together, having a dynamic perspective on the market is what's to your success. So once again, if you guys are on our Discord, the link is in the description below. Hopefully this video helped out. I'd love to hear some feedback in the comments below, and I'd love to start a discussion on what other privacy coins you guys recommend. And with that being said, guys, once again, our Twitter, we're going to be posting more consensus polls and then basing videos upon those, because I think this is an awesome way to almost get a decentralized approach on our videos. So thank you guys for watching, and Snipers out.